You look what Thomas did in John chapter 11. In John chapter 11, Jesus says, let's go back to Bethany. I want to see Lazarus. And Thomas knows if Jesus goes back to Bethany, his enemies are going to grab him and kill him. So Thomas says to those around him, let's go with him and die with him. So my point is, Thomas was not this trite cynic playing little games with God. You know, God, perform a miracle here and then I'll believe in you. Perform one here and then I'll go with you. Thomas was an honest searcher, an honest seeker. The guy was really struggling. And then he's totally blown out of the water when Jesus bleeds and dies on a cross, because all of his expectations of Messiah were, the guy's going to lead us to military triumph over Rome. And instead, Jesus gets nailed to a cross, gets executed by the Romans. So after Jesus dies, Thomas is just reeling with doubt, reeling with unanswered questions. And then the other disciples say, hey, Thomas, we've seen Jesus risen from the dead. And Thomas says, no. I am not going to have my expectations raised like that, only to have them cruelly crashed the way they were when Christ died on a cross. I refuse to believe unless I can see Jesus. Now notice that Jesus didn't condemn Thomas for that kind of honest, searching doubt. Instead, Jesus stands before Thomas and says, my man right here, take your hands and put them in the nail prints in my hands. Take your hand and thrust it in the spear in my side. And Thomas stopped doubting and believed. And Thomas hits the ground and says, my Lord and my God. Now, sir, what really clinched it for those disciples was the resurrection. Why? In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 3 through 8, you read that Christ appeared to James. And you'll never guess who James was. James was the younger brother of Jesus. Can you imagine how difficult it would be for you and for me to believe that our oldest brother was God in human form? So James obviously had a truckload of doubt.